And welcome back. This is the great classic rock debate. I'm Kenny.
I'm Paul with zero qualifications.
I'm Steve.
And we talk anything and everything classic rock. We try to keep it interesting. We try to have fun. If you're watching, please like, comment, and subscribe. We will love you for that. Oh, and share this. Send it out to your friends. Last week, we talked about Christmas songs. It was a fun, lively discussion. I really enjoyed it. And I feel like we got some more ground to cover tonight. So we're going to move on with some more of that. And if it's okay, I want to start with a quick little anecdote that I think you guys are going to really like. And although it's going to start off with you thinking, wait, aren't we doing Christmas songs? I promise if you stay to the end, it's going to tie in. Okay. So I promise this will not be
You promise?
Long.
You really promise?
This will not be long. Okay. So this is a Twisted Sister story. All right. So without doing an enormous historical background into Twisted Sister, everybody knows they started off as a punk band. They toured in Europe. There's some really funny stories from that tour. We won't do that tonight, but because by the early 80s, punk was not becoming a thing the way they thought it was going to. So they sort of revamped and said, all right, let's just go back and do some mainstream rock. We think we're good at that. That's our background anyway. And what they needed was to sit down and write that breakthrough radio hit. Okay. But not Cherry Pie. But they needed a breakthrough radio, a song that rock radio would embrace and that people would sing along with. If you've ever heard Dee Snider interviewed, he's a very bright, articulate guy, very smart guy. And
testified in Congress.
Correct. Yeah. So in his mind, he was like, okay, I got to write this song. It's got to be accessible. The rock crowd, when they hear it, they've got to like it and they've got to find themselves singing along with it. It's got to have that sort of anthem sound. So what he did was he started thinking of music genres outside of rock and roll. Like, I need to come up with a song. It has sort of an anthem type of sound, but I don't want it to be so similar that people are going to say, oh, he copied that song. But I definitely want to model my song after the blueprint of whatever other song. So he thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And he finally came up with it. Okay. Do you guys have any idea what the song is?
Red Sleigh Down.
No, but I know that they put out a Christmas concert several years back.
I think they did a Christmas CD. I'm not sure I ever heard it.
Twisted Sister. Yeah.
So endure my singing for just a few seconds. Oh, come all ye faithful.
Yes.
We're not gonna take
That's the solo.
it. Song. It's the same song. It's the same song. So he basically took Adeste Fidelis, Oh, come all ye faithful, and revamped it and turned it into a rock anthem. And I have to tell you, I read that story. It was probably 2 years ago. And up until then, I never once connected those two.
I saw an interview with him about 20 years ago, and same thing. I had never made the connection, and he said, if you listen to the solo, he said it's all Auld Lang Syne, and I'm like, oh my God! And I've played that solo a million times, and I never made the connection until
so it was genius. I mean, it was genius. He picked a song that the whole world knows and sings along with, turned it into a different song, and had us all singing along with it. And not even knowing what he did.
So it's brilliant. Nobody wants brilliant. That's a Christmas song.
Right. It's utterly brilliant. And that song is still played on classic rock radio to this day, and I still turn it up.
Here's what's weird. If you listen to that video, he references I Wanna Rock in the video for We're Not Gonna Take It. So was I Wanna Rock released as a single first? Because if you watch the video, because it's got Niedermeyer from Animal House in it.
Yeah, right. He's in both videos, right? Niedermeyer?
I think so, but I'm just saying, though, yes, but I'm just saying, though, I think I Wanna Rock must have been released or as a single because he's referencing it in the other song.
Correct. I'm almost positive I Wanna Rock was released first.
Yeah, it has to
And
be.
if you think about it from a marketing perspective, it makes more sense because if you release the other one first and somebody says, hey, that sounds kind of like that Christmas song, your career's over.
Yeah.
So it made more sense to release I Want to Rock first. And of course, the video was also brilliant. I mean, that was some of the most genius marketing ever. It really was. So they wrote the song, they made the videos. The rest is history. But man, that is a great story.
I wonder who came up with the idea of, okay, we're gonna do this video. It's gonna be a rebellion. Let's get the guy from Animal House. Wow, I
I,
want to know how that happened.
I don't know, but
Maybe
whoever
he was
thought of it,
his neiber or something. Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah,
Who
they might
knows?
know each other in real life.
Yeah,
You never know who knows anybody.
who knows? Okay, well, anyway, let's delve on into tonight's discussion of Christmas songs. Um, so, Paul, you did not get a chance to watch the previous one.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to throw a few titles at you real quick that we discussed, just in case there's anything. We talked about Elton John's Step Into Christmas. We talked about Paul McCartney, Wonderful Christmas Time. You know those songs, right?
I I don't
Not
know,
really?
but go on.
Okay, fair enough.
Not really.
Oh, by the way, I stumbled onto a video this week by a guy named Steve Long. His channel is called Steve Long Music. I'm pretty darn sure, based upon the channel, that he is a guitar player and probably in a rock band, or maybe he was, whatever. But he did a video of the 5 worst Christmas songs, and he chose one of them as Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, which Steve and I both agree we liked. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, he just said he's tired of it. Fair enough. But he also chose Bruce Springsteen's Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I said, yes, because that is the absolute worst, the epitome of awful.
Yes.
And
Number
I don't
one
remember what his
worst
other
Christmas
choices
song
were, but look
ever.
him up,
Yeah.
Steve Long Music. It's a great video. It's like 5 minutes. It's real short, but he gets right into it. So it was pretty good. Okay. And Paul, do you by chance know the song I Believe in Father Christmas by Greg Lake?
That would be a negative, unless I may have heard it, but no.
Okay. Pretty sure you've heard it. Again, we won't go into it. Okay. So let's just move forward then, no looking back. So the first song I want to talk about tonight is Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid. Okay. And I think that we open up a whole bunch of different things. We don't want to go too far down any political roads, but I want to give you my own little personal evolution when it comes to this song. It was released at Christmas time of 1984, and they had this huge MTV premiere. Like
Yeah,
they
right.
showed, okay. And I was kind of like geared up to see it because they had promoted it. Like, don't miss tomorrow at 4 o'clock or whatever. So I watched it, and my initial take on it was, man, I kind of like it. It had a Christmassy vibe. It was kind of catchy and sing along. And I understood at the time it was based upon charity, and they were raising money to feed hungry people or whatever. So I didn't have really anything negative about it. I looked at it as a bunch of celebrities, singers, pop stars, whatever, have all gotten together to do a good thing. And I think the song is pretty decent. And I don't know how much money it eventually raised. But again, my take on the whole thing was very positive. Now, as the years have passed, we grow up, we get smarter. And reality can sometimes smack us in the face a few times. And, my take on it is very different. So over the years, I've come to dislike the song. And I don't question or deny the original intent. I know it's for good reasons, but there's that old saying, and this applies to celebrities as a whole, I guess, and that is the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And so it's going to sound political, by throwing money at problems, you don't fix them. You just really kind of prolong them, So anyway, whatever short-term fix they brought with the short-term money, whatever, it didn't fix the problem in the long run, and the starvation continued on. And so looking back now, I think that money could have been much better used in other ways, other than just purchasing a bunch of food, giving it to starving people who will eat the food and then still be starving, So I also know that 5 or 10 years ago they did like a remake, a more current contemporary
Oh
version,
God.
and that this one was never even. It wasn't even a hit for like a week. It was instantly forgotten.
Was it the same song, just the
Same
new?
song, new artists who I guess thought that they were again doing a good thing, and hey,
Yeah.
we're going to put our own little take on this classic, and the whole world is going to love us. Yeah, it didn't.
What?
I
The
wish there
magic
was a
didn't.
metal version with like Danzig.
Right.
Bill,
Yeah.
Bill Anselmo from Pantera.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny, who was the group that they were actually giving the money for?
Well,
It was
Was it
I know there was
Af
an organizer. Yeah,
Bob Geldof
Bob Geldof
was
was
the
the
organizer.
organizer. I don't know if he had like a nonprofit
Yeah,
or
but he also did Live Aid too.
this, which is why he deserves a gold medal because not only was he involved with that song, which I really enjoyed it, and I to this day I still like it. In fact, I like it more now than I did when it came out.
What, We Are the
I,
World?
no, not I hate it. I
I
still
was
hate
going
it.
to say you don't want to.
No, We Are the World. I hate that song.
If
No,
you,
the
I was going to,
Christmas
Steve.
song.
I was going to say if you really love it, this is not the place to be mentioning.
No, I hated that song when it came out. Still hate it to this day.
Good.
But
All right.
my point about Bob Geldof is he got Led Zeppelin back together. So to
Oh,
that,
okay. All right.
for Live Aid, he gets my hand. But the thing that I find fascinating about
And
actually
Queen.
those songs is like just looking back and looking at like who was kind of popular at the time. Like
Oh my God, that's right.
there were some people who to this day are still popular. Like I think Bob Dylan was in both of those, at least one of the songs.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
And then like Boy George was also in it from Culture Club, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of very interesting, like who was like who's who of like 1984 and 1985, whatever year that came out.
Well, Band Aid was
Yeah.
84, and that was mostly Europeans. There was only a
Yes.
few Americans, whereas USA for Africa was almost all Americans.
Yeah, but that was We Are the World, right?
Correct. They called
Yeah,
themselves USA for Africa. Yeah.
But hold on, but
I've
was it
heard
Africa the continent or a specific country?
no, and that's part of I've read recently that a lot of people in Africa, the continent, were very upset because it created a stigma that the entire continent was
Yeah.
just
I did. I heard that too.
like I mean South Africa's got its own problems, to this day, but you go there and it's a modern, Johannesburg is a modern city.
Right.
Nairobi, there's skyscrapers. So, they were just upset that they gave the impression that every place there was, poor, everybody was starving, and well,
So was
that
it
doesn't happen, but there's also
Somalia?
skyscrapers.
Was it Somalia it was, or
Yeah, I'm not sure. It could have been. In fact, it probably was. I think it was.
because
At that time.
Sam Kinison had already figured this whole thing out.
Yeah,
This
and that routine
Move
was
to the food.
hilarious.
Starving
Move to the
Marvin.
food. Yeah. Oh my God, South Park, Starving Marvin.
Don't
Oh my
Sam
God.
Kinnison's going, don't send the money. Don't send the money. Look in, find some old luggage. send them your suitcase. We want them to pack up and move to where the food is.
Yeah, move to the
Yes.
food.
Move.
By the way, this Steve Long guy also put Band-Aid on one of his worst 5 songs. His reasoning was a little different, though. He kind of analyzed the lyrics, and I'm going to tell you why I don't really agree with this, because he was talking about how there won't be snow in Africa. He's like, okay, well, there's not snow in Africa. Okay,
Ever,
Mount
yeah.
Kilimanjaro.
right. But fair
That's
enough.
40,000 feet.
I always thought of that phrase as being metaphorical. And you picture the American family celebrating Christmas and a snowy, they're not going to have that. So that's the way I looked at it, not literal. So I thought that was
Yeah, but South Africa's Antipodean, which means when it's Christmas there and here, it's summer there. So it's the opposite.
Fair enough.
But it's a very California climate.
Yeah.
And then we can't go any further on this topic unless we talk about Beavis and Butthead destroying that thing. Oh my God, they savage it. I just saw it the other day.
Or We Are the World.
Yeah,
or both?
Band-Aid. Well, I think they did both. But
Before you start with Beavis and Butthead, let me just say Bob Geldof, years after the fact, said he hates both songs. Do They Know It's Christmas and We Are the World. He hates both songs. Okay. Even though he
agree
was
more.
one who started, he says, in retrospect, I hate both songs. So good for him.
Paul, you like Pink. Get this party started. So like,
I like that one song. Yes. The other thing is, after we all saw Black Hawk Down, this is the part where the world is just ridiculous. That's when you think with emotion. So in Black Hawk Down, for all you don't know, we sent a crap ton of food to Somalia, and we got there. The king, Mohammed Ayadid, declared it all was his. So when the poor people walked to get the food, they shot and killed them.
Right.
And our people couldn't engage them because they weren't shooting at them.
Right.
The rules of the game said we can only shoot if they shoot at us. And you're like, so all that money went down. It's just like this. It's just stupidity on a.
Yeah.
Or to quote Rambo 5 that I made Kenny watch one night. These missionaries go into Myanmar and they go. He goes, "Are you bringing any weapons with you?" Like, no, of course not. He goes, "You're not going to change anything." You have to kill all the people in charge.
yeah.
So that's why you can't just send money over there. It only. Just
No,
like the Clinton Foundation. 90% of the money
happens all
goes to
the
the
time.
Clintons.
Right.
And it was Ethiopia that.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It
But-
was, yeah.
But yeah, I looked it up. But still, the
Thank you,
stigma
Steve.
was that everybody in Africa felt like they were saying that about
Right.
them. So.
And there was
And this
plenty of places in Africa that were not starving, so I understand.
This is
it.
before and during Mugabe destroying Zimbabwe. So
Right.
at the end of the 80s, plenty of food. At the end of the 90s, they had to import food.
Right. So anyway, okay, so we all agree. Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid is god awful. Do you guys have anything further you want to go there, or do we want to move
Please
on?
move on
No,
before I kill
I'll
myself.
just say,
Go ahead.
for the record, I do enjoy "Do They Know It's Christmas Time in Africa." This song, and I still enjoy it. But I hate "We Are the World," and I got sent to detention in second grade because I said that. And to this day, I still hate it, and I was proven right. So, thank you,
Okay.
Mrs. Terry.
The thing, if I'm being fair, Band-Aid, it had like a Christmassy vibe. Remember how we were talking about, Steve, how we were talking about the Beach Boys did that song called Little Saint Nick, and it just sounds like a 60s Beach Boys song. It doesn't
Correct. It
sound
does
like
sound
it's
like
a Christmas song. Yeah. So Do They Know It's Christmas had that whole Christmassy thing going on.
And that's
And
why,
like I
like
said, I liked it in the moment. I really
because
did like
it still sounds like a Christmas song, even
Right.
if you listen to it today.
Correct. Okay, I'm going to move on. Again, we're a classic rock show. This song I'm about to name is not a classic rock song, but I would be lying if I said that I don't like it a lot. It was recorded in 1972. When we Paul, you weren't there, but we talked about how the 70s gave rise to a lot of original Christmas songs, as opposed to all the traditional ones that had been sung over and over and over again. Lots of new songs. This one is called Merry Christmas, Darling by the Carpenters. It is a ballad. And whether you like the Carpenters or not, it's a beautiful song. And what she does with her voice, I mean, she can take the most plain song and do something like magic with it. And I think that this song is an example. So anyway, maybe it's sappy, I don't know, but I remember hearing it as a kid thinking, man, that's a really pretty song. And to this day, it still hits me right in the heart. So
You're preaching to the choir. Anything with the Carpenters? If she took a dump, I want to hear it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I would
I
rather
love Karen Carpenter. I love you, Karen Carpenter.
Apparently you do. I would rather listen to "We Are the World" than anything by the Carpenters.
Oh, all right. You're lucky. You're 1,800 miles from here, boy.
well, I'm not a big Carpenters fan, but I don't deny the talent. I mean, you know, and they Carpenters have a handful of songs I really like, and my wife and I really like that song "Superstar." Paul, you know what song I'm talking about? Good song, and it has a very interesting history. We'll do it some other time because it's not Christmas. But okay, any further comments on Carpenters? Merry Christmas.
I can talk about the Carpenters all night long, baby. So you might.
Okay, we want to stay within.
Jesus was a carpenter, so that's all. The only good thing I can say.
There you go. We want to stay within the boundaries of Christmas, at least for tonight. Okay, what about Billy Squier? Christmas is the time to say I love you. What do you guys think of that song?
Never heard a song and never will. Go
I
ahead.
think I've heard that a handful of times, but it's been several years since I've heard it. But I did like it.
Okay. There's a great little story behind it. So we've talked about Billy Squier before. He's a product of
I love Billy Squier.
Yep, he's a product of the early 80s. And so I'm pretty sure it was Christmas time 1983. He was scheduled to do an interview on air at MTV. And if you think about it, 83, MTV is still in its infancy, okay? They've still got all those original VJs, and they're just kind of winging it. I mean, a lot of their stuff is very impromptu. So he was supposed to do an interview, and I think he was going to play a song live. So anyway, whatever. He had sat down just briefly before his interview and wrote this song really quick. Christmas is a time to say I love you. And so apparently during the interview, he said, yeah, I wrote this song, if you guys want to get together. And so they recorded it right there. He and a handful of the MTV employees, he plays guitar, they all do the vocals, and they sing it. It's very raw and unproduced, but it's in that original form. And I have to tell you something, I think it is catchy. I think it's great. And knowing the circumstances that led to that recording session, it makes me like it even more.
No, that's very interesting because now it makes sense because it does sound very raw and it's a live performance, and knowing that he kind of
that's what's awesome about it.
Yeah.
That's what's, I never heard, here, one thing
Check
about
out the
audience.
videos on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's easy to find. It's all over YouTube. It's easy to find. Yeah.
See, with Kenny and I, for y'all that know or give a dang, Kenny and I grew up in South Florida. There is no Christmas. I've gone surfing and the beach 85 degrees on Christmas Day.
There's no snow or cold.
Yeah, cold weather. So we don't get into that season like you guys anywhere north of, let's say, Atlanta. It just doesn't exist. So that's why Christmas doesn't mean a lot to me. It does, I don't have, here is different in Tennessee and seems in Colorado.
Yeah,
that's why I don't have this affinity for Christmas stuff.
When I lived in Florida, it was very different. It was hard to get into the mood of the season, but when you live in a cold weather place, it's a lot easier because I got fireplaces in multiple rooms in the house. I love coming home, putting a tree on and putting on the fireplace and listening to.
Hold it. Do you put the tree in the fireplace?
Yes, I do. After New Year's.
There you go. Go ahead, Kenny.
Okay. Well, anything more on Billy Squier?
No, it's a good song. I can't.
I love Billy Squier.
I forgot about it, but yeah,
I think it's a great song. Again, when you listen to it, it makes perfect sense once you know the circumstances. It's it's very unrehearsed. Yeah.
There's a lot of big hair in the video. So
definitely. Hair. But when you're watching them singing it, they look like they're having the time of their life. They really look.
Oh yeah. It does look like they just made it up on the spot.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, so the next one is going to be called Christmas Eve / Sarajevo 1224, and this is by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Okay, does everybody know what song we're talking about?
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. I own that record.
Oh, okay, I was going to say this is a song that is more commonly known as Carol of the Bells.
Yep.
Okay, so what these guys did, and by the way, correct me, Steve, you probably know better than me. I think the members of Trans-Siberian Orchestra were Sabotage, right?
Sabotage,
kind of a heavy metal band?
Yes. That's
right. Okay, which when I heard that, I was like, wow, never saw that one coming. But in my opinion, what they did with this song, Carol of the Bells, which for me is one of the most boring Christmas songs there is. It's just ding, 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 ding. It's boring. Oh my God. They took it and turned it into a rock epic, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
No, I love it.
It rocks, man. It does. And Paul, Steve and I talked about the fact that rock and Christmas, I'm trying to stay on the screen here, rock and Christmas kind of exist separately. So It's kind of difficult for those things to cross over and mix well. Not a lot of good examples of that. But in this case, I think it works great. So they took Carol of the Bells, plugged it into an amp and a lot of electricity, and turned it into Christmas Eve Sarajevo. And I don't know how many years ago that was recorded, but it has become a standard because I do hear
I
this
like that song a lot.
every year now on the radio at Christmas time, and I think it's great.
I feel like it was around 94, but I could be
That sounds
off
right,
by a
Steve.
year or two.
It was before 2000, that's for sure.
Was it really?
I'm pretty sure because, hey, Kenny, I just a small correction on your pronunciation of it's actually pronounced sabotage.
I was thinking the same thing.
Wait, Steve knows that story too?
He must.
Don't talk to me.
I apologize, because the first time I ever heard that recording, which was on Howard Stern, I went to Paul. I go, "You're not going to believe this. It's so funny." But I didn't know that the rest of the world, it's, oh my God. Yeah, sabotage. I say sabotage.
Yeah, there are two episodes of Star Trek that I got, the original, where he actually says sabotage.
Does he really?
I just thought he got it wrong, or he's from Canada.
Right.
So that's the way they say it there. Oh my God. So when you said sabotage,
well,
sabotage.
When he then says, don't talk to me, I thought he was like serious, but it wasn't until years later I realized this guy has a pretty good sense of humor. So I'm sure
he does.
He wasn't a jerk.
He does. Yeah. Bill Shatner. He does. Yeah. Okay. Let's choose another Christmas song to talk about here. I'm trying to pick one here that I think everybody knows. Do you guys have any opinions one way or the other on Dan Fogelberg, Same Old Lang Syne?
Oh, I do.
Go ahead. Give it to me.
It's not going to be good.
No,
okay.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of his music, but I really do enjoy that song. And that's one of the sad Christmas songs that we were talking about. And
agreed.
It does bring back, a lot
based
of
on a true story. Important to emphasize, this really happened in his life. The story he tells in that song really happened. Yeah.
Did he come down the chimney and get stuck like in Gremlins?
See, Steve, this is why they liked us better without Paul.
I hate Christmas songs. It's stupid. Go ahead.
No, but
it's fun discussion though.
This is why this is a perfect example of why for many people Christmas can be a very depressing time of year, and that song is a perfect example. And I listen to it every year around Christmas, multiple times. So
I do too. For the record, there is a video on YouTube of him doing a live performance of it, and he talks a little bit at the beginning of how he never imagined. He says every songwriter writes a song hoping and dreaming that this song will be the one that people really connect with, and time and again it doesn't. He said he never imagined that this was the one that people would just. He gets so much mail saying, "Oh my God, that song!" So
yeah, that's very interesting. So
I probably heard. I just don't know what it's called. So
you've heard it. It's a slow song, and it's definitely on a sad note. But man,
yeah, the story basically he runs into an ex-girlfriend on Christmas Eve in a grocery store, and they buy a 6-pack of beer and drink it in the car, and it basically tells the story of like. She couldn't keep up with his lifestyle.
She was married to a guy she didn't really love.
Yeah, who was like an architect who was able to take care of her.
Yeah, exactly. And so they sat, drank a beer, talked or whatever, and then he had to go back home, and so whatever. And the final line is the snow turned into rain, which sort of represented coming out of the fantasy and back into reality, so it was like, wow. I think it's a great song. I know that songs like that get accused of being sappy and being corny or whatever. Fair enough if that's your take, but for me it's beautiful, it's moving, and it's very genuine. It's so genuine.
I'm glad you mentioned the lyric about the snow turned into rain, because that's just very profound about that song. Again, really, it is sappy, but
did the snow turn into yellow snow?
Shut up. Steve.
Don't eat the yellow snow, Paul. For you Southerners.
Steve, I'll text you. We'll arrange the next show without Paul. Okay, Listen,
right.
guys, we did get our warning, so we're down to just minutes here, about
We got
about
like
five,
7.
about five. So we're gonna have to wrap up soon. Does anybody have any thoughts or other songs they want to talk
Yeah, I
about?
want to do Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC. I actually like that song. And when I
Okay,
first heard it, I was like, this is stupid. And then I started getting into it. I can't remember when that came out, like in 88, something like that.
that's about
Well, it
right.
was in Die Hard, wasn't it? That's the
I
song that's
think it
I think
was.
it
in Die
was.
Hard.
It was. Yeah,
Yeah, so Run DMC,
yeah.
awesome. We love them. I love them.
I was going
I
to
don't know.
say it never really did. Rap mixes with Christmas about the same way blues mixes with
I
Christmas.
agree, but they try. Oh, did Aerosmith do a Christmas song, or am I getting
They
confused?
did. They did. I don't remember what it
Okay.
was, but they did one, I'm sure.
Sorting under the tree.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of.
I can't
I
help it.
have a I have a couple of songs. One that
Go
I
ahead,
want to
Steve.
mention real quick. So I mentioned Brian Setzer Orchestra last time, and maybe I
Yes.
didn't bring this up. He has an instrumental on one of his albums called "Take a Break, Guys," and it is the Three Kings,
Okay.
we Three Kings of Orient, but it's an instrumental. And if you want to hear some of the most blazing guitar work
Okay.
with and a heavy use of a wah pedal. Oh man, it rocks. It is a
Okay.
fantastic song. I highly recommend it to everybody. Take a break, guys. And then the one song that we didn't talk about last time from the very special Christmas album, this is off the second one,
Okay.
is the Tom Petty song, Christmas All Over Again.
Right. Right.
And I
Right.
really enjoy that song. And
Yeah, it's
again,
pretty good.
it's just ironic when you see guys like Tom Petty who make a Christmas song. Doesn't really fit kind of what maybe for some guys it does. I'd never associate Tom Petty with Christmas, but
Right.
Well,
it's
he's from Gainesville, so he's not gonna have Christmas either.
exactly. But it's a good song. Again, talking about commercialization and all that stuff. But I
Right.
really
I wonder why some band hasn't tried to take like the old like Jingle Bell and rock and just
Brian Setzer did.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh, I
It's
didn't
the
hear. Oh
first
no, okay.
song. It's in the movie Jingle All the Way. He did Jingle Bells, and that's kind of what started the whole big band thing for her. That was like one of the first big songs he did with his orchestra, and it's again a really rocking kind of big band swing version
Or
of
did
Jingle.
Stray Cats do any Christmas songs? I try to think. I thought they, for some
I
reason,
don't
they're
think so.
triggering.
It's
But
possible, but I
okay.
don't think so. Do you guys have any thoughts on John Lennon's "Happy Christmas, War Is
Oh,
Over"?
I really enjoy this song, and again, it's
That's a
that
good
is
song. I like
it's a
it.
Christmas staple. I got to hear
Yeah.
it every year.
I I've always liked that song, but just kind of like the Greg Lake song that I really like. John Lennon was an avowed atheist. He said
Yeah.
it out loud. So there's always some sort of cynicism involved with his. It's never going to be really genuine Christmas thing. So.
Exactly. I try not to listen to, or I recognize who's singing the song and what their thoughts are, so I try to not associate it.
Not read too deep into it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Do you guys know the song 2000 Miles by the Pretenders?
Oh, is
Oh
that their
yeah.
Christmas song? I never knew the name of it.
Yeah.
They have a couple of Christmas songs,
I don't
but
know if
maybe
there's any other ones,
That's
but
on
that one,
Learning to Crawl, right? Learning to.
no. Well, Chrissy
it
Hine,
was
right?
on, it was from
Fine.
the Learning to Crawl CD, yes.
She did
Yeah.
sing like "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" on.
Oh,
I
I
don't know
think
if
you're right. I think
that's
you're
the song I'm thinking about. So
right. I always thought that 2000 Miles was a pretty good song.
Oh, that album is great. I mean, it had both the guys, the bass player and James Honeyman Scott, the lead guitar player, both get killed or die. So they had to make that first album they made after the death of those two original members.
is that got Back on the Chain Gang on it?
Yes.
Okay, because I
Yeah.
do. I'm not a big. I mean, I know a handful of their songs, but
Show
Yeah.
Me the Meaning of the Word. That's a really good song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're just about up against it. So if you got any final songs to mention or any other thoughts or
Little
opinions or comments,
Little Drummer Boy by Jimi Hendrix. He's
he
got
Oh,
does
yeah.
that? I didn't know that.
yeah yeah he's
Yeah,
got a.
I have heard that.
It's an instrumental,
Oh,
but
okay.
I remember I used to play that all the time when I was in high school, and I would just crank it up to 11. And in my room.
Didn't Joan Jett do that? What was her? She did a Christmas song.
I think she did. You're right,
She
Kenny.
may
I think it's
have.
on
She
MTV.
did. But check out the Jimi Hendrix version.
Okay.
It drove my parents and my sister crazy because it is a Jimi Hendrix rock song. Just
I can just imagine. Yeah.
I got this last week. It's the Cult, Rare Cult. It's got some different versions of songs.
Okay.
Worth a good listen. I really recommend it. Steve and I are big Cult fans, so.
oh yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, today is the 19th. I don't know if you guys want to try to do anything before Christmas. We can always fit it in if there's, if there's time.
This weekend.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll work on that. So, in the meantime, I guess that's going to do it then. So this is the Great Classic Rock Debate. I'm Kenny.
I'm Paul.
I'm Steve.
And if you're watching right now, please like, comment, and subscribe. We will love you for that. Also, send it and share it with your friends. Until we meet again, we'll see you next time.